Hello, thanks for joining me once again on SnowRunner, where we're heading back to Wisconsin to carry on our journey delivering to the paper factory. Here we are in the GMC. This is where we left off after delivering the large pipes to the paper factory. So what we're going to do is head out of the paper factory and go along the road across the bridge to the fuel station. We'll carry on all the way towards the garage and go into the garage. The reason being, I was in the Kola Peninsula and I heard about the upgrade for the GMC, the all-wheel drive, and sure enough I found it. So we're going to go to the garage and attach the all-wheel drive to the GMC. Once we've done that, we'll head up the road, past the fuel station, across the bridge and back to the paper factory, where we will attach the trailer and then come out and go up the hill towards the railway station, where we will load on 5 concrete blocks to complete 5 of the 6 that are required for the paper factory, and then head all the way down and drop them off at the paper factory. So let's get going. So the first thing I need to do is to detach the trailer and leave it here. Turn the engine on, and then we'll drive back to the garage. We may as well get some fuel on the way, just in case. We've got 88 litres, but you never know. We could get stuck. All sorts of things could happen, and you never know when you need that extra bit of fuel. So this is the last time I'm going to be driving this truck without all-wheel drive, and I know all-wheel drive does increase the fuel consumption dramatically, but it is required if we're going to be using this truck to deliver the concrete blocks today. So we're going into the mud quickly, cleared it and across the bridge. Hitting some rocks, damaged the suspension again and back into the mud. So diff lock, and you can see the diff lock is heating up, so I'll have to disengage it before it breaks the transmission. And there we go, back on the concrete. Let's get some fuel, fill it back up. There we go, 240 litres. Carry on. And I really like this truck. It's worth upgrading and using constantly because it's one of those great trucks that just never get old, really. Bit rocky here. All-wheel drive working well. I'm in low range 3. It has got very big wheels, this truck, and the suspension is raised, so it copes on this rough terrain quite well. It's got a really long chassis as well, quite a wide turning circle like most of the trucks on this game. But those stacks, the smoke stacks, fantastic, aren't they? The flat caps. They add a lot of character to the truck. And the dog bobblehead is just bouncing around there. Damaged the wheel this time, that's not good. But I don't care, I'm going to the garage. And here we are. We've reached the garage, so it's a case of handbrake turning here. Always fun to handbrake turn in this game. Whoa. Okay, forward. And into the garage. Okay, so customize. Go down to all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive. Sell the rear-wheel drive. So there you go, you can see the diff down there. What I'll do as well, I'll stick a loading crane on the back so we can pick the concrete blocks up. There we go. That'll manage the weight of the concrete blocks. And there you go. That is the fully kitted out GMC. Anyone interested in knowing the location of the all-wheel drive, if you go to Kola Peninsula, Lake Covid, the compass is pointing north, so here's the garage, and you go northwest, past here, and this little rocky area here, in there, that's where I found it. So let's get going. We've got our loading crane on the back. So we need to drive back to the paper factory, connect the flatbed trailer, and then make our way up the hill towards the railway station. And I'm really pleased with this truck now. It has everything on it now. We've got the raised suspension, bigger wheels, all-terrain tyres, and of course all-wheel drive, diff lock, the works. So it'll be interesting to see now how it responds in the mud. It should be a lot better, but the only problem with all-wheel drive is that the fuel consumption will be dramatically increased, so we really have to watch that fuel gauge, because if we have the all-wheel drive on too long, we will simply run out of fuel and have to get another truck to refuel us. But at least it can now manage the mud. There we go, not a problem. That's so much better. But the diff lock does heat up quickly if you're not in the loose ground. That's one thing I have noticed with this truck, is the diff lock does not last very long when you're out of the mud. And of course it will dramatically damage the gearbox if you actually leave the diff lock on when you're over rough terrain. Look at that, the all-wheel drive is working fantastically. It no longer slides up the hill, it just ploughs through the mud without any problem. So that's fantastic, I'm pleased I've got that. Let's turn it off. So we've got 221 litres of fuel. We will fill up anyway, because now we've got all-wheel drive, we're going to need all the fuel we can get. Last thing I want to do is run out of fuel and then have to get another truck to siphon fuel into this one. So we've still got quite a few items to obtain from the paper factory. We've got metal beams, metal rolls and fuel, as well as the concrete blocks. So this is going to be a very long mission. Of course we've already delivered the large pipes, so that's one less thing we have to worry about. But this is only paper factory section A. There is actually a paper factory section B as well, so it's a massive mission, it really is. All-wheel drive through the mud. I've just damaged the wheel and the suspension, but never mind, not too badly. Let's see how it performs through the puddle. Will it get stuck? Will it slow down? So far so good. Look at that. Didn't even slow it down. Fantastic. This is a completely different truck to how we first got it. That all-wheel drive just makes all the difference. So here we are at the entrance to the paper factory. So I'll go left here, because there's a trailer in front of us. So let me just hook that up. Brakes are rubbish, but at least they work anyway. Can't see because the exhaust stack. Let's try this angle. Nope, because of the loading crane. Never mind, I can just about see it. There we go. Attach. Right, let's put it into automatic. And we'll head off to the railway station. We can get 5 of the 6 concrete blocks on this trailer. I'll come back and get the other one off camera. I think the next job after the concrete blocks is probably the fuel. I'd like to deliver the fuel to the paper factory. I think you get that from the southeast of the map, but I'll have to double check, but we'll worry about that next time. But as for today, we'll just focus on the concrete blocks. Look at this, even with the trailer on it, it carries on through the mud, through the river, through the water. Not a problem. It's a deadly combination having diff lock and all-wheel drive on a truck with raised suspension and big wheels. It's pretty much unstoppable. I think the only thing that can stop us is the weight of the concrete on the trailer. I think if anything stops us, it'll be that. But as for this particular setup, everything seems okay so far. So here we are, we're turning left. This is the hill that goes up to the railway station. And at some point I need to rescue the... oh, look at that. Diff lock's heating up again. Yeah, at some point I need to rescue the vehicle that's trapped in the bed of the river down there by the rocks. There is a vehicle and I will rescue it one day, pull it out of the river and take it to where it needs to be. But there's a lot to do on this map, not just paper factory revival, but all sorts of different things. There's hidden vehicles that you have to rescue, and all sorts of jobs. So really we're just doing pretty much the first mission, the first section of the first mission as well. We're into the second episode of this map, or third episode, but we've built a bridge on the first episode. The last episode we delivered the pipes, and then this episode we're doing the concrete. So you imagine how much filming it will take to actually complete one stage of a mission. Of course we had to build the bridge because we couldn't really do anything without building the bridges, because you wouldn't be able to get anywhere. So that was an essential first job. We seem to be doing alright up the hill as well. As I say, the real test will be the concrete on the trailer, because concrete, I think the 5 blocks of concrete will be heavier than one of the large pipes. A lot heavier. So I think struggling back up this hill will be a bit of a challenge. But we've got the winch. We're nearly there. I can see the train tracks and the train on the left there that's all derailed. I'm guessing you've got to sort that out eventually as well. Okay, so we'll get on to the railway. We're actually taking the tracks into the station. I've found this to be the best way because the actual road into the train station is flooded, like majorly flooded. It's in the lake, so I think this is the best way. Okay, I'm just getting the last block of concrete loaded on the trailer. And this loading crane can actually pick up things that are one slot, not two or more, but one. So it wouldn't have managed to pick up a large pipe because of the sheer size and weight of it, but one of these sections of concrete, not a problem. Of course, bricks and wood, not a problem, but larger things like metal beams, you need the heavy duty crane. So that's all 5 loaded onto the trailer. Now all we've got to do is go back to the paper factory and unload them. So I'll restore the crane, pack the cargo, and we're ready to go. We've got 148 litres, so that should be enough if we don't get stuck. Let me turn around here, slam it into reverse, and forward, full lock to the right. We should clear those logs. Yep. Okay, and we'll go back on the train tracks. It's a bit bumpy, but it works. Look at all those tree stumps as well. If you hit one of those, you're stuck. It's very hard to get yourself off from one of those tree stumps. Look at that, all-wheel drive doing its job. Fantastic. I think I'm going to need all-wheel drive and diff lock up this hill. So I will engage the diff lock. Okay, so far so good. The trailer is ridiculously heavy, a lot heavier than the large pipes, I think, and it is struggling up this hill, but it's still going. Oh no, well, it was still going. What if I put it in low minus? Come on. No, I'm properly stuck. That's not good. Right, let's see what we can winch onto. I don't think there is anything. No. Okay, we've got a problem. Oh dear. So I've had to jump into the Western Star 49X, and this will be what we rescue the cargo with. Unfortunately, I got the GMC completely stuck, and without reversing back down the hill again, there wasn't really anything I could do. I don't want to reverse down the hill and back through the railway station to go through the lake because I really don't think that truck would cope with the level of the water that's in that lake. So really I think this is the best bet. Jump in the Western Star 49X and winch the GMC up that hill. I think really that's our only option. I did try for quite a bit in the GMC to go up the hill and to manoeuvre and do all sorts of things, but all I did was waste the fuel. So really I have used quite a lot of the fuel out of the GMC, and to be honest I wasn't getting anywhere, so I had to get into this truck. Really, there's no other option. But this gives us a chance to drive the Western Star. It is a nice truck. If you remember, I used this truck to build the bridge in the first episode on this map. Handbrake turn. I shouldn't have done that, but it was fun. I love how the wheels bounce off the ground in this truck as well. When you're on the road and you go really fast, you can see how bouncy the suspension is. It's quite fun actually. I think it's the most modern truck I've actually got out of all the trucks I own. I think this is the most modern, and it was a DLC. It wasn't expensive, but I'm glad I bought it because it is fun. You can tell I've been driving carelessly fast because I'm almost there. I have been driving fast and I have damaged the suspension quite a bit, but I really don't care. My aim is to get this truck to the GMC and to winch it up this hill as quickly as I can. There it is down there. So it's quite a bit to go up this hill actually, but I'm sure if I can get in the right position I'll be able to winch it up without any problem, hopefully. I think unfortunately it isn't the drive shaft or the all-wheel drive or diff lock that the GMC has a problem with. I think it's the weight on the back of the trailer. I don't think the engine is powerful enough, unfortunately. But once we get up the hill we should be alright, if I don't run out of fuel. Right, let's try that. So I'm in all-wheel drive and diff lock, low range plus. Let's see how we get on. It is moving. This truck has a massive V8, so it's definitely got the power. And look at that, the GMC is just being dragged up the hill without any problem. Just get over the brow of this next hill and then I'll release it and carry on driving it. Just goes to show, doesn't it, that really engine size does matter when it comes to weight on the back of a trailer. Of course I can't be using 14-15 litres a minute in the GMC, I just haven't got the distance coverage. But there you go, I think that'll do. I'll detach and then move over off the path, and then I'll jump back in the GMC and carry on. But I knew this truck would come in handy eventually, so let's carry on. That minor hiccup was a bit inconvenient, but we got ourselves up the hill somehow. Thank you very much, Western Star. It will be alright there. I remember where I left it. Right, we seem to be okay now. It just struggled up the hill. just hadn't got the engine power. Thought I was going to topple the trailer then. That would really send me over the edge, in a matter of speaking. And I've just noticed our fuel as well, 42 litres, and we're using about 10 to 13 litres a minute, so we have not got long to get to the paper factory. I'm not convinced the fuel will actually last. Yeah, it's on red now, 37 litres, 36. Okay, that's not good. Soon the power from the engine will completely go, and we won't even be able to move until the fuel runs out completely, and then we've got a problem. But we're nearly at the bridge, and we're on 30 litres. But that goes to show, doesn't it, the all-wheel drive is good, but it just drains the fuel. It uses it very, very quickly. I'm going to have to reverse here, I think. Let's hope the trailer can get round. Yep, just. That was lucky. Right, 25 litres over the bridge into the mud. Doing well. Okay, let's see how we cope through the puddle carrying all the concrete with 20, 19, 18 litres of fuel going down very, very quickly. Look at that, not a problem. Just goes to show, doesn't it? All-wheel drive, diff lock. In this little truck, it can pull 13 litres. See, now the engine is starting to choke. 11 litres. Yeah, I'm losing power. 10 litres, oh dear. The wheels are shuddering to a halt. I don't think I'm going to be able to get there. Turn the all-wheel drive off. Although, look, I haven't even got power. No, 4 litres. And it's going very, very slow. 2 litres. No, that's it. That's it. I can't go anymore. I'm going to have to get the White Western Star to come and refuel us, I think. Which is a bit of a shame. So, good old White Western Star. Any excuse to use this truck? I just needed an excuse, really, didn't I? It is my favourite truck. And luckily we're not far away. We're only round the corner. And we've got 272 litres in this truck, so we've got more than enough to keep the GMC going to the paper factory. Right, here we are. So through the mud, through the puddle, and we're there, basically. Yep, I see him in the distance. It's getting dark now as well. You know, I think this truck is more robust than the others. Flying through the mud like that didn't damage the suspension or a wheel or anything. It seems to be quite strong. They don't build them like they used to. And I think it's quicker through the puddles as well. Right, there you go. We're at the GMC. So we've got 259 litres to play with. That didn't take too long really. Okay, fuel. So refuel from the White Western Star to the GMC. 122 litres, that will keep him going. Right. So, I mean, it's a shame we had to do that because we're literally outside the paper factory. But never mind. Didn't take too long. And at least we got a bit more fuel for the next part of the mission. So round to the right, round to the left, and here we are. I'll come and get the 6th bit of concrete another time, but for now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is that mission finally completed. Wasn't very easy, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers for watching. See you soon.